Todber Fisheries on a tiny lake. It's the smallest lake I think on their complex. Now Todber is a big fish, big complex. They got big lakes with big fish in them, big 30-pound carp. But they've got this tiny pool here with about 6 pegs on it. And one of our followers, I suppose, one of our YouTubers, followers, told us about furs for some perch. Apparently they don't know where the perch are, they're not coming out now. But it's called furs, the reason being, it's a big row of furs behind here. So apparently it's only 3-4 feet deep, but there's quite a lot of fish in it. So if you're looking for somewhere to come with just fun, this could be the place to go. I have never fished, I've fished several of the other lakes around here. I've never fished this one here, furs. So I've got what I call an end peg. That way, you know, nobody can push it on the side there. So it's pegs all the way along, but I'm going to give it a go and hopefully drift some bread across the top there. And fingers crossed, pick something off. There are a mixture of fish in here and some small catfish, I guess 2 to 5 pounds, something like that. So it'll be fun. I can already see mud on the bottom there, so I figure it's absolute plumbing for float fishing. The downside is they've now got like a restaurant snack bar thing down there, so I've seen people getting cooked food there. I've been fishing since 3 in the morning at another fishery. I've driven here to get an afternoon in here, day and an afternoon. And when you smell that cooking, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be tough. I've only got cold stuff. It's not the same as a nice hot sausage sandwich. Right, ground bait. Got a mixture of all the ground baits. I've got expanding pellets. I've got this one which I've used before. It's just called margin mix, because you know me and margin fishing. Activated expanders. This is a green one I was using tench fishing. Literally, well, I say last night, yesterday. Don't know what that was. There's another one. But of course, boys, I've got some of my own ground bait, which I've already got in there, which is a Bailey's #1 horse feed and brand. I'm sure they'll eat everything, but I'm going to pile all this into this bucket. I've already seen one fish cruising across the top. He didn't come up on the bread, but so I've got my ground bait in there, and you know the mix is going to be not 50-50, not 20-10. It's going to be bosh in the rubbish. That one. Let's have a little bit of that. Let's have a bit of that one. That's bright green, by the way. The pellets need soaking. I need a separate one for that. You need to soak these pellets. I'm just using them as feed. I'm not putting them on the hook at all. They can bosh in there. There's 3 bags empty. I better save that one and mix this up. Right. I've got worms, not many worms, I've got maggots. So generally what you want to do is, if you've got any distance to go, say with a feeder or something like that, it's got to break up, so it's best to mix it up slightly dry. I'm fairly sure I'm just going to be fishing close in here, rod length out. The reason being, a lot of guys fish here, and it's a fun lake. They go for the big carp, they don't really fish this one. So I think just straight out in front, you guys, I just really do. Literally lowering it down. I don't know what else is in here, I must admit, as far as small fish. If there's small fish, what I like to do is squeeze it quite hard like this, then they've got to nibble away at it. If it's all in a big cloud, you'll attract the small ones, but they'll gobble it down their tummies a bit too quickly. So there's maggots in here as well. That gives them something to be going on with. Right, let these other ones soak. You just let those soak. Well, that's what I'm doing anyway. Quite a bit of breeze up here. It's very high up in the Dorset countryside. I can see little mud colours there. I don't know if you can see that colour change there. So I'm going to chuck some bread out. Just let it sort of drift around. I think I'll put my camera in the shade here. Nothing coming up on the bread yet. I'm just going to see Mark in the tackle shop, and that big ass tackle shop in there. It's a warehouse, so got all the carpy gear you want, and they'll give you information. If you go and see Mark in there, he'll give you the information of each lake, how to fish it, what baits, etc, etc. The fish moved over there, so now I want to go throwing over there now. Oh, something small there. Right, waggler float, I think a ledger. Now, I was told that English catfish, just your average ones, really have an affinity for a nice juicy bunch of lobworms. I can't afford to put a bunch on, so I'm going to use just this running ledger rig, just like that, let's see it, and a half a lobworm on a size 10 barbus. Now anything could take this, I assure you. I'm just going to fish it to the side of where I baited up, in the hope a catfish picks it up. And that's my bonus rod. Most people would just float fish here. I'm going to put it on back line, get a little bit closer, and I think I'll put a bobbin on. I'll put a bobbin on there. Let's put a small piece of silver paper. Just there. That needs to come back a bit. Just like this. Just wind that up a bit. This reel's not doing too good actually. Might get a bit of wind in the mic here, because I say it is very open to the wind, and I'm on top of a hill. Wow, look guys. Very tentative nibble at a piece of bread there. Right, float rod. I'm on already guys. That piece of worm's just gone. I'm going to have to change this reel. Oh no. Oh, don't tell me I'm going to get tangled. Let's put that. I haven't even rigged up my rod. I just dropped it down there where the mud is, and it feels, I guess, going to be a small carp. Well, this is what all anglers like to see, is an early fish, and he is plugging away there like you wouldn't believe. It's on my Avon rod, stirring the bottom up, so like Mark said, it must be quite shallow. Small mirror, and as all Todber fish, I can tell you now, this is going to be, there's the worm in his mouth, and look, in miniature, absolutely perfect, isn't it? Well, got my bait back there, look. I'll drop it again, just to the side. That's not actually quite right. Just to the side of the swim. Don't say we're going to have that all day. A digger. Well folks, the link ledger's gone off again. I still haven't got the float rod out. I need to move this around because this is a really good fish. Well, it's pretty peculiar with the wind. I walked at the other lakes and they were windy. So the old saying is, better the devil you know. So I'm staying here. But I've moved swim, so I got too cold up there. Here we go. Ooh, nearly. That's on the worm. I wonder if it's a big fish or a small fish. So I'm in the shade up there, but it's a bit chilly with the breeze comes up. And the fish are down there, that's the trouble. I've come up here and I've put some bread out. Just going to have a brew. And I've just got worm on that one. I've got nothing on the left-hand one yet. I might go float on the bottom. We'll see how it goes. You see it's clouded up quite a lot. But still pretty pleasant, provided you're in the sunshine and out of the wind. Well, that's ridiculous. That fish must have been close to 10 pounds. Wait for this. I think I've still got my worm back. That's a link ledger. £5 straight through, size 10 hook. I haven't got many worms left, so it's just as well, isn't it, really? I feel it's got to go out again, see if we can get 3 on it. We've got some concrete chopping machine or something over there. So it's not going to be quiet, guys. Trust me. Well, I've got to try and get the float rod rigged up. Float's just taken off, boys. I'll have to use this camera as, where I can because of the racket from the machinery over there. I've no idea what size he is, but you know, I thought this was a lake with real £1 fish. Look at this carp over there. That's a nice fish. I think they're excavating, trying to get through to Australia over there. So 2 to the link ledger. This is a nice fish. I'm sort of gobsmacked, to be honest. This is sort of supposed to be the kiddies pool for beginners float fishing, and as you can see, they're pretty big fish for beginners. This is a bunch of maggots, boys, so I don't really think it's going to make too much difference what you use, but it's not a small fish. So basically ledgering and float fishing are both pretty good in this lake. I'm going to have to put this one down. This is not a small fish, by the way. Look at this other rod hammering. Here we go, guys. Fish number 1. Dump the rod over there. And then straight on to fish number 2, who by now is 3/4 of the way across the lake. Just got big common. I'm going to bing this off because I've been struggling to get battery time. The thing is, one is a good common. Oh yeah, 3rd fish on lobworm on the same bait. check them out, people. They're like 8-9 pounders. There you go. What a trip. I think I need to regroup, people. That's ridiculous. What's that for? Carp? I've only been here 30 minutes. I haven't really got set up. I just looked around and thought, where's the float gone? Playing the fish. What's that beeping noise and crashing? It's the other rod going into the water. That's crazy. I've hardly put any feed in. I don't get that. I think I'll have a sandwich and regroup. Right, I finally got myself together. I've had something to eat. I've got worm on this. I've got a bunch of maggots on the float there. I've got that. I've taken the link ledger off and trying it just basically free lining with a BB shot. I think I probably might have to go back to the link ledger, which will allow me to fish. It's a little bit of wind picking up now, and I need a heavier bobbin. So if I have a heavier bobbin, it's going to pull that 1 BB across the bottom and keep, you know, bumping it towards me. I want it to be just balanced so that I get a drop back bite or a pull up bite. When the last bite wasn't a bite, it was the rod going in the water. So the float's just there. I could shot it down a little bit more. Again, I want the bait on the bottom, so if it drifts either way in the wind, it might just slow it a little bit. There's some bait here, which is some of Mike's stuff. Nature Diet, Puppy Junior, vegetables and rice. Vegetables and rice, doesn't get any better than that. So there's vegetable and rice, and what I've done is I've cubed that up into those. Just like lunch and meat, if you like, that's how I see it. It's free bait. Michael gave it to me for nothing. So I'm going to put some of this in there as well, because I feel, to be honest, they're eating pretty much everything that's going in there. So I'm going to stick, having had 3 good fish on those half segments of lobworm, I think I'll stick with that. My float's just pulling under there now. But they were mudding up, they were stirring up the bottom, and I don't see them now, and I don't see them cruising on the surface. So maybe I was just lucky with those 4 fish, who knows. Little tip, if you're using bread, a tin loaf is best, which is not sliced. This one's called a super toasty white. Now I've not used this one before. I normally use toasty white supermarket bread, cheapest chips. But look, the end of the crust is really, really good on this bread. So look out for super toasty white. The in-between pieces, the regular slices, you can use the crust edges, but I like to break them up. Now you can throw them out loose if the fish are coming in close. If they're not, if you want a bit of extra distance, don't need to kneel on the wet mat. If you just dip them once, watch this, that's it, barely squeeze the water out of them, I'll be able to throw these. Look how much farther I can throw them out. So there you go, tip number 1. Super toasty is good and it's got good crust, and then wet it so you can throw it out like that. With the big chunks, like this, hey look, fish moved on that straight away. With the big chunks, if you break it and tear it off, you end up wasting it. So I try and go like this, look. If you use the scissors, I find it a lot easier, and you're going to get them the same size for casting. And this one is a very, very thick piece of crust, but of course once it's in the water it soaks up water. Here comes the moorhen to steal all my floating crust, but that's the way it is. If I had a lot of bread, I could obviously feed off that bird and get some fish coming up. Because if we one that looked like a great big golden orph in there. So just give it a wet. And then, oh there he is, he's over there. Let's see if we can get him up. Koi, like a koi type thing. He was out there, very light coloured one. So if you're just fishing floating crust on its own, I do like to have a single hook, put the crust on, send it out. But the farther you cast away, the less chance you've got of actually seeing the mouth close around it. So as the carp comes up, he's going to make a ripple or ring on the surface as his nose comes out. A lot of people, beginners especially, will strike on that. Don't strike on that. You want to see the mouth close. A better way, if you're a beginner, is to fish a waggler float about this far away, maybe a foot or 2. So when you see the fish come up, like there's one over there, takes a piece of bread and you're not sure he's got it in his mouth, as soon as you see that ring, stare at the float, and if it just dips like this, that's when you strike. I'll probably have to try a waggler float here with a bigger hook, and we will try that over there and see if we can't pick one of these off. There's a big koi type one out there. So, you know, there's 3 carp over there, and my bread's going over there, the crust, but I can't reach them just like this as I've got it here, free lining. If I try and cast too hard, it's going to come off. You can see this, it's just going to come off. See it? Can you see it break up? It goes into 3 different parts. So what I need to do really, and the fish just took one of the loose ones, is to put a waggler float on, and I can get right over there. I think I'll set up with a waggler float and see if I can get right across the back there. Because they're not quite as keen on these ones in here. It just took 1 piece. Look, 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 2 pieces. Absolutely, it's quite a nice carp. And of course, it comes off. This is where I need that float. Oh, I just seen one cruising. Can I get in front of him? Where has he gone? Might get lucky, might get lucky. He's about 6 feet, 5 feet. No, I think he's gone past it. This is probably with floating crust, you only get that one. Unless it's very close, you only get the 1 cast out of it. There's 2 or 3 fish over the back there, if I can just... Oh, that might get lucky. There he goes, he just bumped it underneath, he knows there's a fishing line attached to it. And the wind's pushing it a little bit too fast. I wanted to sort of anchor it up there. There's a bunch down there in the edge of the rushes I can just make out as well. I guess my bread that's left over is drifted down in there. So another fish is once on a floating crust. Two or 3 fish coming up there now. The wind's pushing it over that way, but I can't actually reach them without the waggler, so I think I better put the waggler on. This one is a common. It must be some concrete crushing machine over there. There he is in. Common carp. Even got one of his bobbins back here. Must have left that in the net. There he is in the sunlight. Nice common. Fun size. Well, I'm on again with that waggler and floating crust. Now, a couple of tips you need to know. Like, you might be able to hear the wind in the mic, you can see it here. That's going to put a belly in your line. So you're going to need to either strike through that belly in the line or try and mend it. If you have to mend the belly in the line between the rod top and the float, don't do it when there's any fish moving near there. This one's not a big fish, I'm guessing he's about 4 pounds, maybe bigger. I'll just put a rod down here looking for catfish. Oh, that's a nice fish. Oh my goodness, 4 pounds. I'll take those all day long at this size. And of course, oh, don't tell me that's fucking. No, that's that one. I keep getting bumps and beeps on there. Oh, nice fish. It could be fish of the day nearly, this one, guys. Could be fish of the day. I think it is fish of the day. I've got a feeling there's a fish on this other right hand rod, a little baby one. Very long fish, this one. I think he's in. Oh, what? Let him get his stuff out of the watch. Pretty sure there is indeed a fish on the end of this. And look, another double, people. That is ridiculous. Oh, he's come off, which is probably just as well. That was on maggots, by the way. I'm out of worms totally. My last throw of the dice, I've plumbed the depths down here. I've taken the ledger rod and put it straight out there. Must give that a handful of bait, actually. And then I'm going to try and see what's giving me a lot of beepy bites in there. So I can grab this if it goes off. We're just going to sort of swing it out and just lower it there. Very shallow, 2 feet if that. Not even sure it's that. There it goes, there's the float sliding. I don't know if they're a different species or it's just carp digging around there. If I point at it, you can see the right of down there, looking down the tip of the rod. Hopefully you can see the float there. Just dithering about, and I think that's with fish's bodies knocking the line, because the float goes more side to side. Just going to draw it a little bit. And hopefully something will grab it. Yeah, I mean, it's as much bread as you want to throw on the surface. They'll keep taking it. I can see all the mud coming up there now, actually. It must mean it's carp. Now I've got 3 maggots on a size 14. Look at this chap, he's going. So I've got a nibble on here and a nibble on there. That's a drop back. This is still the link ledger, this one. There he goes. I'm waiting, always fiddling with it. Right, oh, there's, oh, I missed him. A little bit keen on that one. If I get one bite for you, just right in close down there. So it's roach and indeed carp that are down there. Now catching that last carp's probably spooked them, and this is a 4BB antenna float. So I've been fishing for those carp, as you know, on the surface. So I took a oh, I missed him. I took a shot off so that it sticks up in, you know, higher. So because I've been fishing with it a bit higher, you know, so I can see it at a distance, I've now put that false BB back on there to dot it right down, so I'm down to the actual right setting. And because the minute I put the camera on, no bites. I'm getting very, very small bites here. I think it's those roach towing it around. I had envisaged see what I mean? I had envisaged trying to fish for catfish under there, but I didn't realise it was that shallow. This one is cranking. He is on the other side, boys. Be nice to finish. This could be my close-out fish. Well, you won't get any better than that if the camera is running. I'm on my 3rd battery, by the way. I've been doing some other trips. I've had 3 trips in 36 hours. This is a big fish. This could be 8-9 pounds. Or a smaller, whatever it is, on 16 or 14 or whatever. Better take my time with it. It might be the fish of the day. Just feeding maggots in the margins very, very, very regularly. Let's have a look at this kiddie. He's kicking up a lot of mud down there. Look at all the mud he's kicking up, so I know it's a good fish. You see the waggler float there. Oh yeah, he's got to be close to 8. Come on, babe. Can't really do much with him like this, can I? That's the rod maxed out. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm not on a hook link, I'm on 5-6 pounds straight through. Poor old match rod, it has had some stick, this one. Wow. It's just a scrap and a half. Who would have thought that in about 2 feet of water right next to those overhanging rushes there? I'm going to bing it off for a second, guys, because I am really nearly out of battery. Guys, this is definitely a double. I'm up in it, up in the weight estimation. I've had a couple of good looks at him. Yeah, that is about 11. See if I can keep him coming. Come on, babe. That's the trouble with a match rod, you can't really. Maybe. He's in. Yeah, it's a good size. Good size to close out with. That, folks. Oh, yeah. Oh. No scales. But he's definitely shaking. Hook's so small I can't get hold of it. There's the hook. And there is a fish on a match rod. I'm going to put him at about somewhere between 9.5 and just under 10.5. Wow, that worked sweetly. You actually got to see the take. Let's get this guy back. Do you know what? So successful for that. It's so successful today. I think I'm going to try another lake, have a walk around, just see what the score is. Well, I've found the culprit, guys. I've those little tweaky twitchy bites. It's indeed roach right in the margins, but I have hit a couple of carp. I'm at about 12, 14 carp now. But there must be a lot of small fish in there as well. I wonder if there's any bream. I'm kind of surprised I haven't hit them. But I'm going to give it a little while longer and then I think I'll call it quits. good sport on this. I mean, the fish have been bigger than I thought they'd be. To be fair, I did think they'd be, say, 3 pounders, something like that. But they're tweaking away here on the maggots on the bottom, but they definitely like the worms better. There we are. I'd say just about shade 10.5. Don't think he'll go 11. But crackerjack fish to finish with. Let's get it back. Hopefully there's a few tips in there for you. Oh, my wrist is aching from all that. What a session. Well, there we go. I don't know what I've had, 12, 14 carp, maybe more. Exhausted. And one roach. Don't forget that roach.